Welcome to Rajendra Tandon videos, continuing the saga of Rama as narrated in Valmiki Ramayana. We stand at the battlefield outside the gates of Lanka, where Rama stood fighting as a foot soldier, while Ravana had returned riding a chariot with an ample store of weapons. The latter shot like a cloudburst. Every arrow carried devastating fire. Think of Valmiki writing a few thousand years ago of weapons which could carry devastating fire. The Devatas, Kinnars and the Gandharvas watching this unequal fight from the heavens were worried. To alleviate this situation, the glorious Indra sent for his charioteer, Matali, and asked him to go and help Ram. Matali departed in Indra's chariot, drawn by superior green horses made of gold plate. This celestial chariot looked unusually splendid. Hundreds of bells had been tied to it. Decorated with varied gems, it glowed orange like the rising sun. The sun is going to appear again and again in this particular video. I have included sun shots, sunrise shots, as well as NASA shots of the sun. The chariot's steeds of a green color were covered by golden lace and harness. Soon after, Matali stood with folded hands in front of Ram and addressed him thus: "O chivalrous killer of the enemies, the 100-eyed Indra has sent this chariot for you to ride to victory. Here is Indra's invincible bow and armor, glowing like Agni, with arrows that carry Surya's fire. Further, he has sent you the blessed and faultless Shakti. O brave king, ascend this chariot and, assisted by me, kill Ravana in the same manner in which Mahendra kills the Danavas." In this video, I have included a number of scenes of the war as painted by artists in Mewad. These paintings are available on the web to see, and they are lying safe and sound in the British Library. Rama bowed to the chariot, ascended it. After going round it, a battle began between the two charioteers. Says Valmiki, it was a unique engagement, extremely exciting. Rama was knowledgeable in the use of several weapons. He destroyed Ravana's Gandharvastra with his Gandharvastra and the latter's Devastra with a similar weapon. An infuriated Ravana used the ferocious Rakshastra against Rama. Poisonous like Vasuki Nag, Ravana's arrows covered the entire sky in no time. Rama countered these arrows by releasing the frightful Garudastra. Thousands of Garudas moved in space, countering Ravana's serpentine arrows and wiped them all out. The Rakshas Raj targeted Matali, hurt him, and also cut down Indra's ensign. He injured the green horses with a barrage of his arrow shot, and such speed that for some time Rama could not manage to retaliate. Rama's eyes reddened with anger to see Ravana gaining ground. With arched eyebrows, he looked fiercely as if he would burn the Rakshasa to ashes. Ravana ready to launch a weapon known as the Shula. Ravana ready to launch a weapon known as the Shul. Addressing Rama, he said, "O Rama, this Shul is powerful like a bolt. I shall use it to kill you and your brother and dispatch you two to the land where my warriors have gone." As Ravana released the Shul, the sky brightened with hundreds of flashes of lightning. An angry Raghava now used the Shakti sent by Indra to counter it. As soon as it struck Ravana's Shul, the latter, cut to pieces, fell upon the earth. Gaining an upper hand, Rama injured Ravana's horses. He hit the Rakshasa king in his forehead and near his heart. Bleeding heavily, Ravana found it difficult to breathe. His strength to hit at Ram with his weapons ebbed. He could not lift a bow and shoot the arrows. His charioteer sped him away from the battlefield. But coming to his senses, Ravana rebuked his charioteer for his cowardice and said, "Foolish charioteer, do not take me for a coward. A helpless, weak and impatient man, devoid of valor and determination to fight the enemy. Disobeying my command, you have unilaterally dragged me out of the battlefield. You ought to have ascertained my plan, my intention. My enemy's valor is well known. I considered it my duty to overcome him in battle. You made me feel important. Has my enemy bribed you? You have not acted as a well-wisher." Rama too was tired. He waited for Ravana to reappear. Muni Agastya arrived at the scene and approached him. He said, "Rama, if you chant the secret Aditya Hridaya Stotra, your victory over your enemy will be ascertained. These verses are pure, sacred, and act adversely on the enemy. No other chant is more effective than this one in overcoming sorrow, worry, and in the ensuing success and longevity. Through these mantras, you invoke Bhagavan Surya, who radiates light and heat through millions of beams. He who is worshipped by the Devatas and the Asuras alike and radiates glory to the entire world, will help you win the battle against all evil. Scientifically too, the earth as we live in survives on the light and energy from the sun. Surya is a reservoir of energy and effulgence and gifts the world life, strength and inspiration with his beams. He alone spreading his rays sustains the Devatas, the Asuras, the entire universe. He is Brahma, he is Vishnu, he is Shiva, he is Skanda, Prajapati, Mahendra, Kal, Yamaraj, Soma, Varuna, Maruta, Manu. Surya is the populace. He is their life breath. He creates seasons. He radiates light. Surya is known by several other names. Aditya, son of Aditi. Savita, creator of the universe. Surya, omnipresent. Khag, wanderer of the sky. Push, one who sustains. And Gabhastiman, effulgent, resplendent. Surya is like gold. He is Bhanu, source of light. Hiranya, Reta, the seed of life and of the lifeless. Divakara, creator of the day. He rides a chariot driven by green horses pulling in different directions and emanates thousands of beams. He is Marichiman, adorned by his beams. He is Timiro na Mathana, the destroyer of darkness. Shambhu, the source of well-being. Twasth, providing succor to his devotees. Martandaka, giving life to the universe. Anshuman, radiating beams. And Hiranyagarbha, Brahma. Surya is Shishir, a natural creator of happiness. Tapana, source of heat of energy. Ahaskara, creator of the day, and Ravi, to be worshipped by all. And Agni Garbha, a storehouse of fire. Surya is Shankha, a source of bliss, widespread. Shishirana Shana, alleviates cold. Shishirnashana. Vyo Manath, master of the skies. Tambobhedi, destroyer of darkness. And learned in the Rig, Sam, and Yajur Vedas. Surya is Ghanavrishti, the harbinger of rains. Apan Mitra, creator of water. Vindhya, Vithi, Plavanagama, traversing the sky with speed. And Atapi, the source of heat. Surya radiates light through his beams. His heat can cause death. He gives heat, but an exposure to his light can be insufferable. Surya is Kavi, the omniscient. Vishwa, the universe. Mahatej, the most glorious. Rakta, of red color, and a source of all creation. He is the king of the planets, of the stars, and of the constellations. He is Vishubhavana, the protector of the world, and among the Tejasvis he is preeminent. He is Dwadash Atma because he manifests himself in 12 forms. Rama bowed to the sun and said, "We bow to you in the form of the Udayachal and Paschimgiri mountains, where you rise and set. You are the master of the constellations and of the day." Augustus added to his oration and stuti, Surya alone is responsible for creation and sustenance and destruction of every being. He is the omniscient and omnipresent soul that resides in the core of all creatures and is awake when others sleep. He is the sacred fire lit during yagya as well as the fruit of the yagya. Rama, one who chants these verses in praise of the sun during misfortune, in difficulty, walking a dangerous path, or when beset with fear, is protected. Hence you concentrate upon and worship the sun, your victory shall be certain. Listening to the Muni, writes Valmiki, Rama overcame his grief and prepared for chanting the Aditya Hridaya mantras. After bathing, he did Achman thrice for purification and chanted the sacred verses 3 times. It was then that he beheld Ravana back in the battlefield, facing him, and decided to end the latter's life. More next time. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram.